I mean, I think it's a very thin line. I think when the hard work is at the detriment to your personal well-being, that's like the line that's like that's something that I think I talked about in live a couple weeks ago, but we didn't really discuss here about quiet quitting. I think we might have discussed it on the Patreon, but just to recap the misconceptions of quiet quitting. People think that it's the mentality that you want to do the bare minimum until you get paid more, and that's not 100% understanding it. First of all, it's not a mentality you go into a job with, but it's a mentality that's supposed to create the idea that you're supposed to know your own worth. That regardless of how a capitalist system works, you still have value and worth. That is, if it's not being acknowledged or met, you know, it's not your obligation to exceed that. To kind of explain, uh, quiet quitting is not about doing less than 100%. It's just specifically not doing more than 100%. And I think that's an important value. That it's honestly hard for people who have to grind and hustle to understand or acknowledge because they literally have to do this. This is the only way they can make the means to live comfortably as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's talked about a lot. It's like there's these unknowable things at the top, right?
Yeah.
And what we can see is who's our peer. And so what a lot of people choose to be upset at are their peers behaving differently when they have to function a certain way.
Yeah, and it's also like often seen as opportunity. Like when you're in a survivalist mentality where you have to take any opportunity that will advance your placement in your own life, it clouds how you see opportunity. Like you see someone who is trying to hold out for a raise or refusing to do extra work because they're not getting what they deserve. So the mentality might be to to take on that extra work for yourself, even if you don't have that much room to expand that much. You will do it because it means that you make more money. It means that you have more opportunity to advance yourself, even if you physically can't.
The thing that always gets me is that you do things, we're fed this promise that you work hard, you go above and beyond, you don't take
Six and a
sick
half.
days, you don't take vacation days, you work extra hours, whatever it takes to get the job done. I've done that before. And it's not pretty. And the thing is, we're told that, it's going to pay off for us later. That there's some like gift basket that's like waiting for us at an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah.
And the thing is like you're living right now. Like you should be enjoying your life where you're at right now. That's not to say that you shouldn't work hard, that you shouldn't strive for bigger things, that you shouldn't strive to excel. But it's like understanding that you should enjoy yourself now and be happy, because it's so cliches. It's so funny that all of the whole thing about quiet quitting and like lazy people, this stuff has always existed. I mean, how many times when I was a kid, when you were kids, do you see in TV shows, and movies, and books where they talk that saying of like, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, I wish I spent more time at the office.
Yeah.
That's an idea that has been around since forever.
Yeah, I mean, like even there was this funny example on TikTok that I think initially started this conversation for me was that dude, what's his name, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. I forget his real name. He posted a TikTok where he was literally like, if you're a quiet quitter, you're a loser. Stop it. And I had commented, so pay your employees more. And this guy like got into me about the whole conversation. Well, if they don't want to do the work, then they shouldn't deserve the thing. It's like, well, that's the point. They are doing the work. They're not getting something. But then someone else reminded me of a quote from the show of a story he told, Mr. Wonderful told, where he got a job at like a parlor or like a restaurant, and he was a busboy, and they asked him to scrape gum off the bottom of the table, and he was like, no, you hired me to do dishes and wait tables. You did not hire me to scrape gum. He was like, I'm above that. I don't need to do that. That doesn't define my hard work. And he told that story about him not taking gumption or like strife from anybody and being his own man. And it's like that's the point of quiet quitting is understanding your own worth, and the fact that you as a corporate like conglomerate owner can't understand that is so annoying.
I will always say the thing that frustrates me the most is like standing up for yourself is seen as weakness. It's like your value is placed in the amount of pressure that you're able to handle.
Yeah.
Like the amount of like people's pride is in how much they about how much ability they have to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
It's beyond me.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's the common thing. It's even a generational thing where it's like when someone had to fight for something and they see someone younger than them benefiting from the work that they went through, they get mad at that. And that doesn't make sense to me. It's like you fought to make things easier intentionally, but because they're not struggling like you did, they don't deserve it. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
It's I mean part of me thinks is there's just something about human psychology that just like there's that the amount of relief you get when you are struggle makes the struggle worth it.
Yeah.
And so they think that because of that you have to earn that relief. But it's like I mean here's the thing too, is that obviously, you know, there shouldn't be I believe there shouldn't be these levels of disparities between like people's lifestyles.
Yeah.
I think there shouldn't be a bunch of billionaires and like so many homeless people. If you have $1 billion, money's fucking made up in the first place. All of this stuff does not mean anything. And so yeah, give up a little bit. If you give up a little bit and you're still gonna have the most, like what is the fucking problem? But here's I have a personal the reason why I don't like hustle culture. I believe that people should. This is in terms of so there's two different things. There's people that are moving up their companies, and there's people that are doing something that are
Yeah.
starting their own business, that are trying to become an artist, a musician, whatever it is. And you hear all these stories about like you can't have days off. The people that succeed don't, you know, they don't take breaks. They keep pushing it. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. There's some truth to that. You do have to work hard to promote yourself and to succeed. And you know, you do have to have that extra grit to like be able to power through hardship. I get that. But the thing is that it's just I don't want this to sound like defeatist mentality, but you have to understand that it might not happen.
Yeah.
And the people will tell you you have to believe that it's gonna happen. And don't be that person because it won't happen for you. There's so many people that die because they knew without a doubt that they were gonna be that successful person.
Yeah.
You know? And the thing is like I know I said that people die from it, but like literally like I have personal experience with that kind of mentality, you know. I don't like this idea like we've been given a checkbox of like what makes a successful person. Like
Yeah.
you work hard, you move up in a company, you get paid well, you buy a house, you know, invest and you do all this stuff and like you do whatever it takes to make it happen. When I was 24 years old,
Right.
you know, I bought a house that I, you know, could not afford. I bought a house that was 2/3 of my income. And but the thing is like everybody around me is telling me, good job, you're fucking crushing it. I can't believe, you know, you bought a house, that's amazing. You know, and everybody's like and I'm saying like, yeah, it's expensive, it's hard, it's like I couldn't renovate it, I couldn't fix it up, but the fact that I owned the house was like people were like, hang on to that, don't ever let it go. Right? So now I have a house that I can't afford, you know, I'm 24 years old and I'm working hard at this job. I became, you know, a manager at this job, getting paid it's not enough. So now I have to work more hours, do what I can to make more money. And at a certain point, this wasn't year round, but at a certain point, I was working 100 hours a week at this job. I was literally living at work.
Yeah.
I would live at work so that I didn't have to pay for gas to travel to and from my house. I didn't have to pay for electricity. I didn't have to pay for water. I pack a duffel bag. I pack a duffel bag of clothes, and then take that to work, and then stay there for 6 days. And I would use like alcohol wipes to clean myself. I would like take like showers in the sink and stuff, wash my hair out.
Right.
And that's what I did for months so
Yeah,
that
I
I could
mean-
afford to do this. And on top of that, um, you know, I had to take a step away from comedy, which is what I really wanted to do at the time. But I told myself, I'm doing this because I'm investing in myself. This is a good investment. I'm gonna have this house, and it's gonna pay off later. I had to take a break away from what I really wanted to be doing. And on top of that, I developed a drug habit to like get through I was working for 100 hours. There's multiple times where it happened where I worked from Friday night until Monday morning without stopping.
Yeah.
Like I was just on Adderall the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that's like a common thing with a lot of like overnight jobs. There's a huge pandemic of like, pet pills are just Adderall. They're just like another name for attention pills that you see on the road. Yeah,
Whatever it is, and it's the thing of like
it's the number one thing for warehouse workers and truck drivers.
that I started doing meth on top of doing Adderall. Like I was I had to give up on my dreams because I was like I'm gonna get back to that later. And I was truly doing drugs so that I could stay at work and make more money and pay off this house.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like it just was not healthy. I lost like 50 pounds, and but the whole time people were telling me like such a good job, like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're hanging on to this house, and you're setting yourself up for your future. And coming out of it, I still feel that like brain doesn't work the same, that my joke writing, that my skills in comedy have taken a hit, my confidence certainly took a hit,
Yeah.
my performance style, like I was doing so well up until I stopped doing comedy, like I decided to take a break and like try to go back to it, and now, I'm thankful for where I'm at now. I've gone through a lot since then and like worked on myself and done things to be better, but it was like this what upsets me about it is like anybody could say like, hey, you made a human decision. How many people prey on people in their early 20s to get loans for college, for housing,
Yeah.
for whatever it is, for cars? They take advantage of people that are young so that they can make some money now. And then, like, I'm very fortunate that I was able to just like, when I decided to stop taking drugs, I'm very lucky that I have been able to stop.
Yeah, and that's honestly like a thing people don't know about is honestly, I'll admit that I learned this I believe from Adam Ruins Everything, but a very like 60% of narcotic users use it to function in their daily life. It's like parents who want to function after having like their fourth kid and they're just trying to struggle. At home parents and then workforce, people, truck drivers, warehouse workers, like it's people who are literally just trying to function and stay awake because their average sleep time is like 4 hours a night. And I don't use anything besides like marijuana specifically because I feel like there's too much of a risk there. But even like as someone, I have insomnia. I average maybe 3 hours a night just naturally, and it's like it's a detriment to like physical health.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of it, the number one thing that I've learned is take care of yourself and enjoy where you're at. Like, enjoy the things that you have in life, and and the thing that is difficult is that it's okay to want to have goals, to want to achieve things, but there's an issue with this hustle culture, this mentality of being the number one and then having to fight to stay at the top is, you know, what there's two possible outcomes of you putting in all this time and energy to achieve this thing, right?
Yes.
The two possible outcomes are one, you're not gonna achieve it, and you're gonna miss out on so much happiness because you're focused on achieving that one goal that you're missing everything else that's going on in your life, and you're constantly telling yourself that is the thing that's gonna make you happy. The other thing that happens is you do achieve it, and then what?
Yeah.
Okay, I worked hard and I did the thing, and now I'm proud of myself. And then what? So then you create another goal,
Yeah.
and then maybe you hit that, maybe you don't. Then you create another goal, and you're constantly moving the goalposts for yourself, and constantly playing catch up with yourself. And it just, I don't know. Obviously, there are things about being successful and having a lot of resources.
Well, I
that-
think. Sorry to cut you off, but just because I've also, as someone who wants to do something like comedy and be like a professional media persona, I've also had like experience with the mentality, and I don't know